Hey guys, it's Kathy. Welcome to our recruiting class tonight. Hope you've had a great Tuesday. It's 9 o'clock. For some of you, it's dinner time. For some of us, it's getting close to our Jami time, right? But I'm excited to be here with you guys tonight. And I have some really, I think some fun conversation that we're going to have tonight, some interesting conversation. So I'm excited to see who's joining us. Hey, April, how are you? Oh, I'm so glad I can actually see the comments. I was going to use my phone because I'm on my laptop and I was going to have my phone connected, but I can see the comments. So I can see your questions and all that good stuff. So tell me who's here, grab a seat, get your pens ready because we're going to be, again, sharing a lot of good stuff tonight. So what did you guys do today? Hey, oh my gosh, Jen, thank you. You know, Jen, I decided to kind of play a little bit with a curling iron and just get like a beachy look. I thought, you know what, I just want to try something different. I was bored. I got bored. My husband was watching the game. I'm like, oh, I'm just going to try something. But thank you, Jen. You're so sweet. Yep. Oh, you're in bed? Oh, no. Oh, it looks like I'm live twice. Let me see. Is this better? Amanda, is it better? Okay, I shut off my phone. So is this better or should I go on my phone? So I go live on my phone. Can you guys tell me if this okay? Because we want to record this. Of course, we're gonna record it, do closed caption, put it in the university. So is this okay? Yes, no? This is good. Okay, great. We'll just wait a minute. Okay, it looks fine to you. Amanda got me a little nervous because I was, okay, good evening, Miss Thing. Yes, Cam, Miss Thing. Congratulations, Cam. I'm telling you, he graduated with a 4.0 in Spanish, and I think there is like 3 different categories that he graduated with. And or he is graduating with. If he hasn't, and he's been chosen to go over to a Spanish-speaking country. And Cam, I'm so proud of you, really proud of you. Mariah, now you can see me. Happy holidays, thanks, you too. There's a second feed. I'm not sure, Amanda, where there's a second. Oh, wait a minute. Let me close this. Let me close this. Maybe it's me. There we go. I closed it. I closed the live, delete. Okay. All right. I apologize. Sometimes when I use a laptop, I can't see the questions, and I can see the questions perfectly, so I don't need to be on my iPhone too. Just completed your sophomore year in those classes. Oh my gosh, you are young. I thought you were graduating. Oh my gosh, Cam, I'm impressed. I was always impressed. And I was even more impressed when I got a chance to meet you in person and your mom and your girlfriend, but I'm really impressed. Congratulations. Good evening, Haley. Hey, Bridget. Oh, thanks, April. Thanks. I get so bored. I have the attention span. Those of you that have seen me in person, like April and Cam, I have the attention span of a gnat. I mean, I cannot. I'm the shiny object. I'm like, oh my gosh, what's next? And I'm like, oh, let me curl my hair. Oh, let me do this. I mean, honestly, it's hilarious. My husband, I don't know how he puts up with me because he's very even Steven. I mean, he's very, very even Steven. We're total opposites. Heidi had a chance to meet him. And Bethany and April, and Angie, yes, they said, oh my gosh, total opposites. Anyway, all right, well, let's go ahead and get started. And I'm gonna come into tonight's training at a little different angle. And I got to thinking about this, and I don't know why I've never shared this in the past, but I'm going to share it with you guys this evening, and then we're going to go into talking about recruiting. And this comment that I'm about to share with you is about recruiting, but have any of you did you ever watch a TV show called Fear Factor? Anybody ever watch Fear Factor? That show was, people did things for money. I mean, they ate the most gross types of foods for money. They would do really death-defying things for money. I mean, it was like money controlled them. And I got to thinking about that when I was preparing for this class. And actually, what prompted me to think about that is yesterday, one of my friends posted a platter of chocolate-covered rats. Yep, it was a platter of chocolate-covered rats. And the caption, she posted on Facebook, and the caption was this. They will pay you $1,000 for each rat that you eat. And all of a sudden I got to thinking back to that Fear Factor show, and I thought to myself, people will do the strangest things for money. Now, that's not a criticism at all, it's an observation. So then it reminded me of something that happened in my business when I was a leader at Pampered Chef. And what happened is I decided to go in a different angle. And that's what I'm going to start with you guys this evening, the same angle that I went with my team back at Pampered Chef. So here was the angle that I went to. I wanted our team to be the top team in the company in a certain period of time. We were going for, something, I don't know what we were going for. And usually what I could say is, I'd say to them, let's go for it. This is what we're going to all experience, etc. But I decided to take a different twist on it. So I said to them, what if, and I want you guys to listen to this because it's kind of going to parallel with what we're going to share tonight. So I said to them, like I would be saying to you, what if back then, Josh Christopher, the owner, the founder of Pampered Chef, so Heidi, what if Heidi were to say to you today, in the month of January, for each person that you recruit and they complete their 750 in the first 30 days of January, we're going to reward you with $1,000 for each recruit. So that means for each recruit, 750, which is approximately 3 parties, right? Heidi would hand you $1,000 for each one. So I said that to my team. I said, what if that were to happen to you? How would that change your recruiting attitude? How would that change the way you felt about recruiting? And it was amazing because all of a sudden, I think they were thinking to themselves, it would change it totally. And I said, why? Why would that change? So I'm going to ask you guys, if Heidi were to offer you $1,000 for each recruit that you signed up and qualified with the 750 in the month of January, how would that change your attitude? And let me tell you why it changed your attitude. Because you would soon figure out that it was about you. And there's nothing wrong with that. In fact, that's what I'm going to get to tonight, or right now especially. I put something in the when I set this group up for the training, I put a graphic in there, and I want you guys to look at it because it was friendships, it was money, it was all these different feelings and benefits of having a team. But I wanted you to notice something. I put in there WIIFM. Kind of sound like a radio station, right? What WIIFM meant what's in it for me. And you know what, guys? There's nothing wrong with that. Yes, we're supposed to take that $50 that Heidi has given us in the month of January, and we're to gift it to someone else. And that becomes about them. But I want you to think about, what if you were given that $1,000 to recruit? It becomes about you. And why is that okay? It is okay. And the reason it's okay is because when you are in a direct sales company, the model of direct sales is really about being able to have financial freedom without any of the other ties that you have when you work for someone else. So if Lemongrass Spa is giving you that financial freedom, what does that financial freedom do for your family? And that's where it really starts when it comes to recruiting. It starts with you understanding, now listen to this, guys, it comes with you understanding that as a consultant, you are limited by the amount of income you can give back to your family because of the amount of things you have in your personal life, and it limits the amount of shows, parties that you can do. Yes, you can do Facebook parties and you can do catalog parties, but there's still some limitation on the amount of time that you pick up from your family and give to your business. So there's always going to be limitations. And at the time that I was sharing with my team back at Pampered Chef, we were doing mostly home parties. So I said to them, guys, you're always going to be limited. You're going to be limited by the amount of space you have on your calendar and really by the amount of bookings that you can get in any time of the month, because there's a seasonality factor with our business, right? The J months seem to be what everybody says are the most difficult to book. I don't believe that, but that's what they, some of the industry trends or industry experts will say. So if that's the case, and if you know that your indirect sales to add some additional income to your family and you are limited, then it's okay to say, gosh, Kathy said that to share with other people will benefit my family because of the residual income that comes into my paycheck from the people that I share with. Now, those individuals that you share the opportunity with who sign up, they actually get a better paycheck than you do. I mean, they get 25% of their sales, and you get their override, however that turns out to be. But the bottom line is that override, that residual income that comes from sharing and forming a team and getting all those kindred spirits to come and join you, that's money that you should be wanting to give your family. So I think really where we need to drive this conversation going into 2018 and looking at that $50 income, or product bonus, that's for them. But what's for you? Let's talk about tonight how to get you to benefit from the sharing that you do, the income that comes from those individuals as they say yes and they get started with a strong start, how that looks to your family. What do you want to rely on? What should you be relying on? What can you go back to your family and say, I have a goal to share this much, to recruit this many this month. And, from the standpoint of from every person you ask, every 8 to 10 that you say yes, say you ask, they say no. And then for every 8 to 10 you ask, you'll get a yes. So if you think like that and you set a goal that you want 2 every single month, and those 2 are going to start out strong, I want to give you permission to take that additional income and focus it on your family. Make it about you. Make it all about you. Because the individuals that are pretty smart, that are recruiting because they are sharing. If you're not recruiting, it's because you're not sharing. That's the bottom line. Listen, I think there's a misunderstanding that some people are better at recruiting than others. That's not true at all. Recruiting is not natural for anyone. It's just like bookings. It's just like host coaching. It's just like team building, leadership, right? We weren't, that's not a skill that we had when we came to direct sales. It really wasn't. It's a skill you learn. So if you want to learn this skill, if you want to learn how to share, and you want to learn how to build a team and get that community feel among the people that say yes, among the people that also want for their family, I want to give you permission to do it for you, to make it about you. Because I'm thinking if you make it about you, behind you is your family, counting on you, relying on you. And that should drive you more than what that $50 will do for someone else. Does it? It sure does me. When I started with direct sales 23 years ago, I never dreamed. I never dreamed that it would get, our family to the place where my husband was able to take early retirement from Hewlett Packard and go into teaching at a small university in Oklahoma where we knew no one, and he was making nothing. I mean, literally, he went from 6-7 figure income, took a nosedive, if you will, because he just needed to re-look at his life. I mean, that's exactly what happened. Just like when I left Pampered Chef, everybody said, "Why did you leave?" Because I knew it was time for me to re-look at my life. And it was like a second chance to do what I wanted to always do for years, and that was to be a full-time trainer. So he took a chance, he re-looked at his life. He was traveling a lot, being away from our kids. And he said, "You know what? Your business is strong. We can live off your income." He took 2 years off. He homeschooled our kids. Those 2 years, we had just my income coming in. I never dreamed that that's what I was building. But guys, let me tell you something. You can dream this because you have people all around you that are already living the dream for their family. That's exactly what they're doing. When you look at the top leaders in our company, they're doing it for their families. They're providing a way of life for their families that they would not be able to do it without sharing. So we're going to reverse this, and we're going to talk about you and what this is going to benefit for you, because you should have financial freedom. You should not wake up every morning and wonder, what bills am I going to pay? You should not have to worry about your wash machine breaking. I just spoke to a consultant this week. Her wash machine broke. They didn't have the money to pay for it. She's going to a laundromat, and I shouldn't say don't have the money for pay for it, but I'm assuming she didn't. She's going to the laundromat. I mean, you shouldn't have to have any of those financial worries, because what you have is the opportunity for you to make that incremental income by sharing the opportunity. So today I had a conversation with someone, and I said to her, and I got permission, I'm not going to use her name, but I got permission to use her paycheck. Now, when she was a consultant, she made, about $400 or $500 a month. Her last paycheck, because she started to share, was $1,125. She didn't do any more parties than she did when she started. She couldn't. She has children. She has a lot of things going on in her life. And so this $1,125 that she's getting is a result of her saying to someone, and someone saying to her, "Listen, if you need some extra money, you're not going to make it by doing parties because you're limited." I mean, it was a wake-up call for her. She was limited by the amount of parties she could do. So, of course, her smart director, whoever her upline is, said to her, "Listen, here's my paycheck. I only do this many parties a month, maybe 4 or 5 this leader is. And this leader is probably making, I'm going to say, close to $10,000 a month doing 4 or 5 parties." She also was limited, I'm sure. And so what she did is someone said to her, "Listen, the direct sales model is this. If you want to benefit financial freedom for your family, and you recognize that there are limitations with the amount of money you personally can bring in, go and share. Get the money from other people. Because trust me, the model you set up for your family is what these others that you're sharing with are going to set up for their family." So if you don't feel the sense of control and ability to feed your family with direct sales, not just from your parties, but from sharing the opportunity, they won't get it. So again, what I'm going to share with you tonight is, I don't want you guys to feel like this is like somebody's got the corner market. Oh my gosh, Jennifer does 6 and 8 a month. She doesn't have the corner market. She learned the skill, just like all of you can learn the skill. Your leader's there for you. I'm here for you. It's a skill. And how you decide to do it is the first step. It's the first step. When you had to book a party, how did you do it? You learned how to go out and extend an invitation. When you're filling your January calendars, listen, you would not be able to know how to fill a January calendar if your leader or I didn't share with you some of the skills to fill those January calendars, because January is a different month. It's an exciting month, but it sounds different than any other month of the year. And that's a skill. So you're learning that every step of the way. So listen, if you feel like, if you're listening to this call and you're feeling like you're not successful, really, you need to learn it. So you learn to book, you learn to sell, and you learn to recruit. All of those are the pillars of direct sales. And again, if you're not recruiting, it's because you're not sharing. And that's an active choice. You have an active choice. Now listen, guys, let me tell you something. It's your job. I mean, it truly is. You don't have to do it. Nobody's going to fire you. But if you signed up to be a consultant with Lemongrass Spa, you signed up to share the products, the host rewards, and the business opportunity. And for some of you I know that's listening, that maybe you're on this call, with those of you on this call, you're here on the call because you want to find out what it is. How can you learn the skill? What are some of the techniques that I'm going to share with you guys tonight? So good for you. Good for you that are on the call live, and good for you that are going to be listening to this, that are listening to this later. Because again, no matter how active you are or aren't in this business, you always have the ability to share what you know. Again, about the products, about hosting, and about becoming a consultant and adding money for your family. Because again, remember, recruiting is about your family. Yes, you're going to take that $50 and you're going to offer it to somebody else, but it's going to come back to your family. That's who's going to benefit. That person, yes, but it's what's in it for me. Because as you start to feel that, and you know, as women, we make decision emotionally. As we start to feel the impact we have on our financial situation, we do have that impact. As we start to feel it, then we make more logical decisions. But it's that feeling that really spurs us and makes us take that risk, if you will, and that, you know, step outside of our comfort zone. Listen, and the only way that we can get this message out to other people and benefit our paycheck and benefit our family is by us carrying the message. Because we don't advertise in papers, we don't advertise in magazines, there's no radio, TV, nothing. This is how we do it. We do it by sharing with other people, by just simply extending the invitation for them to take a closer look at direct sales. I mean, it's as simple as that. It's a yes or no. We offer it to other people. Did you know when you're I'm thinking even at a virtual party, but I'm not 100% sure with those statistics, but I know with the in-home party, there's a statistic out there that just came around that said at least half or more sitting at a party are thinking about what you're doing, are looking at you through the lens of, could I do this? Now, the reason they're looking at you is because you're sharing seeds. You're sharing seeds. You're talking about why you got started, some of the things that are the most exciting for you, and you're talking about what some of your kids, maybe what they experience, you know, and at that point, it's really not product related. It's about what this business has changed for you. Listen, I had a girlfriend one time and she said, oh, I have no problem at all. I go to a party, I go out there, I go into somebody's home, and I said, guess what's happening in my home? Homework, baths, you know, arguments, and I get to leave. My husband gets to do all that. I love this job. Now, don't you know that somebody sitting in the audience, probably more than one person, thinking, oh my gosh, that is so my life. Maybe she's homeschooling. Maybe she just, you know, can't handle it all with a full-time job, and this is her out. And it's so funny when she said that to me, I'm like, oh, you don't sound like a good mom. She said, I'm a great mom. That's what makes me a great mom, because I get to leave that once in a while. And I thought, well, good for you that you were transparent like that, right? Listen, guys, we have what's called a mystery job. I mean, most people don't even think we get paid in money. They think we get paid in products. There are still a lot of mystery around our role as a consultant, you know, and that's why it's so important that when people ask you, how many nights a week do you work? You want to make sure that you understand they're not probably asking about you. They're probably trying to formulate an equation in their mind if they could do something like this, especially when you share some of the things that you find the most inspirational about being a consultant. And again, it can't always be about the products. Yes, you're going to love the products because they're going to fall in love with the products. That's a lot of times how you get people to be interested in at least talking to you about direct sales, because they love the products and they're thinking, well, I love the products. So you mean if I share them with my friends, I could get paid for it? I could actually get a paycheck? So it's not that you hold back the fact that you recognize it's a love for the products, but you also have to make sure that you are sharing other parts of what people might be looking at. In fact, one of the things I'm going to encourage you to do, guys, to do is when you talk to somebody about the consultant opportunity, you want to put your listening ears on and you want to ask them questions. We'll go into those questions in just a minute. But a lot of times if you say, tell me a little bit about yourself. Do you work outside the home? Say, well, I'm a nurse. Well, I want you to try to think about a scenario that you can bring into a conversation with her being a nurse. I mean, you might be a stay-at-home mom, so that doesn't really resonate with her. You can't have an alignment with her necessarily, so you might be able to say, because you're experienced, as a consultant, and you know a lot of people in the community group here that are probably nurses, you want to be able to meet her where she is and say, oh my goodness, you work around so many people that probably already understand the opportunity of choosing cleaner, healthier products, reading labels. You do it all the time, right? Oh my gosh, this would be a perfect opportunity. Plus, you're around a lot of women that are already interested in this. I think you'd be great at this. So do you notice that I didn't talk about me being a homeschool mom? I aligned with her as a nurse and immediately went into her business and her type of connection that she would have because she's a nurse. And that's why it's important that you put your listening ears on and you allow her to share with you where she's at in her life. And the other thing is, I have to tell you that when I say that we have the mystery job, most people think they couldn't get a real job. We couldn't get a real job. Seriously, I remember when I was starting with Pampered Chef, my friends, I had a master's degree. I worked for Hewlett Packard. They're like, what, wait a minute, isn't that like Tupperware? And of course, I had never been to a Tupperware party, so I didn't know what they were talking about. But the way they were asking me and the way they were turning their nose up, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, is it like Tupperware? What is Tupperware? That's why you must share about the money. Because people sometimes think, oh, poor thing, she couldn't get a real job. No, listen, we make real money. We make real money. It's important that you say, I want to let you know, for those of you that might be thinking, can we really make money with direct sales? Does she really make money? I do. And that's where, again, I talked to this consultant today that makes money. She makes $1,125 now. I said, you want to print out that paycheck or create a paycheck where you can show everybody, put it in your lap boards and say, if you could use this kind of income, I can show you how. Because what she's going to be doing is she's going to be sharing about the party income, and then she's going to be sharing about the recruiting income, about sharing with others how you can still do the same amount of parties, be away from your family, be on Facebook, follow with your catalog hosts, and yet when you start to offer the same party, Facebook catalog parties to someone else, you get a residual income. That additional income comes in without you leaving your home. It's a win-win. Now listen, guys, direct sales is the only model where you get paid off someone else. It's the only model where you get paid off someone else that's working, right? And it's beautiful. It's beautiful. That's why when you talk to someone, you want to make sure you ask them, what could you see yourself using this income for? Because that's the promise. The promise is the income they're going to have, and the promise is the income coming into your paycheck for your family. And that's why it's so important that you try to minimize selling the kit. You sell the opportunity for them to make a paycheck so you can have that income for your family. If you sell the kit and you take your customer from being a great customer and being a potential host, and you give her that kit discount, you are not adding any money to your family. In fact, you gave money away because that customer, when she purchases, even if you gave her as a VIP customer a discount or an additional product with her order because she was such a great customer, you're still getting money off of her purchasing as a customer. When you turn that customer into a host and then you turn that host into someone that just buys the kit for a discount, you've lost that host. So you're actually taking money away from your family. I want you to think about that. And I don't want to make anybody feel bad. If you're listening to this and you were one of those hosts and now you're a customer, you're a consultant, and you're not making any money, so you're not giving the person that signed you any money into her paycheck, that's okay. We're going to forgive you. But I don't want you to do it to anybody else. And she's not going to do it to anyone else from here on out. It's not worth the dynamics. I mean, you have columns, you have little buckets. This is my customer and she's a VIP and I treat her so great. I let her know when things are on sale. I give her an additional discount. She stays as your customer. Then you have your host. Oh my gosh, she's the one that I come back to and I treat her as a past host and I give her special treats. And then you have a recruit. And your recruit is someone that gives your paycheck some additional income each month because she's getting the money from doing her own parties. So do you see where it all kind of balances out? It's like an ecosystem. Everybody wins for sure. Do you guys know how generous our commission, our career plan is? Do you know? If not, you need to set up some time with your leaders. You need to set up some time with Jennifer Dusa. Our commission plan, our career plan is heads above Pampered Chefs. I mean, there are people in Lemongrass Spa and they used to be with Pampered Chef and they'll tell you, oh my gosh, I thought I was reading it wrong when I looked at your career plan. I thought there is no way coming from a company like Pampered Chef that Heidi can be this generous, but she is. I mean, the money is there. Don't leave it on the table. Give it to your family by giving it to someone else. Yep. Did you know there's over 25,000 people a day that join direct sales? I just got that statistic from one of the newsletters that I get. 25,000 people a day. Now listen, do you know what that means? It means that if they're not signing up with Lemongrass Spa, they're signing up with someone else. So remember what I said? We don't advertise in the newspaper. We don't advertise on the radio. So how do they know? They know because you take it upon yourself to say, gosh, have you ever thought about this? I'd love to invite you to take a closer look. That's all you have to say. Have you ever thought about it? I'd love to invite you to take a closer look. If you know the person, I think you'd be great at this because I even tell people that sit at my parties that are just like wired. I'm like, oh my gosh, you would be so fabulous. Have you ever thought about direct sales? That's how I started. Because I know if I say to them, have you ever thought about Lemongrass Spa? They're going to say no, right? But I want to see if they're thinking about direct sales. That's the model. That's the model. Think about this, guys. Everybody that's listening, I think back 23 years ago, it's almost 24 now. What if Penny, my recruiter with Pampered Chef, what if she had never invited me? What if she had never said to me, and really she didn't. She was fairly new, but she talked enough about how much money she was making that I popped up and I said, wait a minute, you make how much by being here? I knew what time she got here, and I knew what time she left. And I also knew that I wanted a plan B, some residual income. And I knew from somebody that was so smart that you don't wait until you need your plan B to get the plan B. So I knew we were going to be building a house and I wanted some additional income. My husband was so tight. He's an accountant, so he was so tight or conservative that I knew I needed my own money. I knew our credit cards were going to be locked up. And so I needed that plan B. And I didn't want to wait until I needed it. I knew it was going to be coming. So I figured out, you know what, I'm going to try it. And that's where the 30 days came from. Because at Pampered Chef, we always said, oh my gosh, try it for 30 days. You have a kit, 4 parties, a $400 paycheck. This was before Facebook parties. So now it's about a $600 or $700 paycheck because they can add Facebook parties in addition to their 4 in-home parties. And we say, oh, try for 30 days. Well, at the end of those 30 days, I gave them the gift of that $400 paycheck. I gave my family the gift of the residual income that came from all those $400 paychecks, right? I mean, I didn't assume they didn't want a paycheck, and I knew what I was getting in my paycheck. I didn't initially. It wasn't until my husband said, you need to start recruiting. I'm like, what? For 3%? And he said, Kathy, you are going to see when people start doing these parties like you are, you're going to see this money rolling in, and you can keep that money. And that was his promise. You can keep that money. And that's what I did. I was able to keep all the income I got from my recruits for at least the first 6 months. So you better believe I was recruiting strong, real strong, because I wanted that additional income coming into my paycheck, right? So again, have you ever thought about this in your life? That's what I'd say. Have you ever thought about this? Try it for 30 days. And I know some of you get confused when I say 30 days because you're thinking, do they take the kit back? No, because maybe you don't understand that 30-day model is 4 parties. It's 2 launch parties, and it's a girlfriend or a family member, another girlfriend or another family member, 1 party once a week. It allows them to experience you. It allows them to experience the community group. It allows them to experience Coffee with Kathy because they're working. When we see posts in the community group where someone doesn't have a clue, I don't know how to do this, I don't know how to do this, it's very interesting because I don't always think it's the leaders. I really don't. I don't think it's the leaders that have dropped the ball in the training. I think whoever recruited them as someone that wasn't going to do parties. And maybe that's how the conversation went. But remember, if they don't want to do parties, what are they doing signing up? Keep them as your customer. Promote them to your host. Get that money in your paycheck for your family. Don't take it away from your family and give it to somebody for the $25 a month. The ecosystem doesn't work that way, guys. You don't benefit. And remember, it's about WIIFM. What's in it for me? And what's in it for you is by helping others make that paycheck so you can get more money in your paycheck for your family. That's how it works, right? So when you're talking, do you remember why you signed up? Now, again, some of you may be listening thinking, Kathy, I didn't sign up for anything but a personal user. You know what? 2018, you see my hashtag, 2018 and beyond. It's time to change that if you want to. This is the time. Get with your leader or get with me. I love restarts. Last year at this time, Heidi did a restart, a jump start, where she let everybody come back into the new consultant opportunity with the restart. It was fabulous. But guess what? We don't have as many people in our company doing the $25 personal user because there's a lot of us, me including, that say, no, we don't do that to people. We don't sign them up for a personal user. We either keep them as a customer or a host, or we let them make money as a consultant. We see less and less. In fact, there is a larger number of consultants going through and accomplishing that reward system in their first month than ever before. Kudos to you. Kudos to you. So knowing that, why would you not bring more people into the company knowing that's going to be the norm? Because when they make that $750, you make money in your paycheck for your family. WIIFM, that's what's in it for you. So again, when you talk about your why, maybe you're going to be talking about a new why in 2018. People are hungry for that. They're hungry to hear what changes could they have in their life based on what you're telling them are changes in your life. Really, that's exactly what's happening. They want to hang on to your hope. And it's really not even a hope. It's your destiny. It's your inspiration. Magic happens when you share your story. And sometimes if you don't have the story that maybe you're quite there yet to share somebody else's story. You've got so many people in your team page, in your leader group, or with your leader group that you could absolutely say, could you tell me your story? In fact, maybe one of the things that you ask your leader, could you have some people share their story? And you say, you know what, I have a friend and she's also with me in Lemongrass Spa and I want to share her story. I mean, it doesn't have to be your story. Have it be someone else's story. I share your stories all the time. I truly do. I share your stories all the time. The consultant that I talked to today, I'm sharing her story because we had a really deep conversation where she knew what the opportunity would have looked like if she had more of her stronger consultants. She said, Kathy, yes, I make $11.25, but I look at those that didn't start strong, and I think if they would start strong, what would my paycheck look like? And I said, good for you. Because now you know what you took away from your family, what your family wasn't able to benefit, that they're benefiting from those 3 or 4 that are doing great. Maybe she has 6 or 7. So those other 3 and 4, they could have been doing great and she could have increased her paycheck and added more to her family. So again, it is about you. It's about your paycheck because these other individuals need to have that strong start also. So again, I hope this is making sense because as you share about making money, it makes you be proud about the money. Now, I feel like, and again, please don't take this the wrong way. I remember early on in my time with Lemongrass Spa, I did say something to someone, and I didn't mean it to come across this way. I'm going to share it with you because by now you guys know my heart. So you know I'm not saying this to any one person. I'm just going to put it out there. If you're not sharing the opportunity, does that make you selfish? Does that mean that you're holding back? That you're saying, no, I don't want anybody else to have this. What if that person that brought you in, what if she had said that? What if she had never offered this to you? What if Penny, my recruiter 23 plus years ago, had never at least shared about what she was using her money for, how much money she was making? What if she had never shared it with my group that night at that party? I would have never been able to give my husband the opportunity to quit his job and go to this college of his dreams. He wanted to teach at a very small Christian college in Oklahoma. Why Oklahoma? I have no idea, but that's where we moved. We moved to Oklahoma. And it's so interesting because I didn't know anyone, and yet I was so proud of the product line and my company that I was so excited to share that with everybody, what it had done for our family, what the income had done for our family. And that's how I formed such a strong team in Oklahoma, because everybody wanted to hear my why. They wanted to hang on to it. And they wanted to be able to have a why that was similar, not identical, but similar. So we all should be going into 2018, and really, I'm going to say 2018, but it's now, guys. You start to collect, you clear the clutter, you get that funnel, and you start to collect those individuals that you want to extend the invitation to that can start in January. Can they start now? Absolutely, because this is what I believe. Yes, if they start January 1st, they've got 60 days. But who needs 60 days? If you go with the idea that they just try for 30 days and then all of a sudden say, but you got 60, that's confusing. Women like to have a short window to do what they need to do and then move on to something else. When you drag it out, oh, you've got 60 days to put in your 3 parties. What is that? It's every party's like starting all over again. So if you sign them up, in fact, somebody actually signed somebody up today, and it was Hillary. And I said to Hillary, good for her. And she said, Kathy, she's the one that said, well, I have until January 30th, right? And Hillary's like, yeah. And she said, well, that's plenty of time because I'm lining up my parties for January. Why would I care about February? Bingo. She got it. She wanted her paycheck. She wanted the return on her investment of her kit. That's what she was thinking with Hillary. Well, don't I get a paycheck every time I go to a party? Yeah. So if it's a $400 show average, won't I pay back that kit? First or second party, yeah. Well, I want to pay it back as quickly as possible. So I'm going to start in January, which means I'm going to go ahead and order the kit now, get familiar with the products, share them around the holidays with my friends, get my friends lined up, and I'm going to play. I'm going to invite them over to my home. She had no experience with direct sales, but she got it. But I have to believe the reason she got it is because she modeled and watched Hillary, and she talked to Hillary. And that's how Hillary is. Hillary is promoted to director. She is fabulous. And she is doing this because she is very intent on making sure everyone that's on her team is coming out with a paycheck. Every single week, they've got a paycheck to give back to their family. So again, you want to come out of this call tonight with recruiting eyes. Yes, it's so easy to look at parties. It really is. It's so easy to look at product sales. But remember, what you're giving back to your family isn't the 25% discount on the products. And it's not just only the party sales. It's that residual income that doesn't make you go out and do the parties any more than you want to. I know with Pampered Chef, the way our time was structured is, and our director status, their director title was you had to have 5. And we always told the story. We always set up the stage for a new consultant. And we would say to them, would you like to be trained as a consultant or trained as a leader? Because as a leader, as you're recruiting and you're reaching out to some of your friends, you will get some incremental income off of what they do, which means it's kind of money that just you find in your paycheck. And they're like, tell me more. So when they got to a director title with those 5, if they were doing 4 parties and their team was doing 4 parties, they would automatically see their paycheck double the month they took title. So they might have been making $500 or $600 with their personal sales, but all of a sudden they're now a director with 5 people, and they would see that paycheck double. They would see $1,200 to $1,600 without doing any more parties than they had originally set up to do. So it was always a conversation. We made sure we asked them. Because if somebody said, I really need to make $1,100, you could say, oh, you want to do 8 parties, or you could say, okay, this is what I would suggest. We're going to go ahead and get you on the track to make sure that other people can join you, because they're going to be able to make the paycheck, and you're going to be able to have some income, direct sales residual income, trickle into your paycheck every month without you having to leave your family any more than what you're already wanting or whittling or able to do, right? So it's a conversation that's a very educational, but it's a conversation that some people want to have and need to have. Your eyes, if they're recruiting eyes, your eyes will take you to this success. Again, you know the signs, people that are absolutely in love with their product. You have past hosts. Have you invited them? Every single host. I mean, they are the number 1 people that come into direct sales. They come through the funnel, if you will, the title of host. They come in hosting, and then they stay as a consultant because they see their friends loving the products. You share what you made off their parties. I always said to my host, if she was on the fence, I always said, okay, let me just tell you how much I made off your party tonight. This could be your party. And you know, the other thing, and I don't know if you guys do this, but I always had my host get at least $200 in outside order before I showed up at the party. And if she were the least bit interested in signing up, I'd say to her, well, I'll tell you what, from the party tonight, just the orders that came in tonight from the people that attended, I'm going to be making about, $140. These outside orders that you brought in, you did the work. You know, girl, how to do it. I'm going to give you those outside orders. So I gave her the outside orders for her to submit as her first party. She did the work. And that's a conversation that all of my hosts got if they were the least bit interested in taking a closer look. And usually what set them over the edge was not those outside orders. It was me sharing with them the amount of income I made that night. And they were looking at their friends having fun, and they were looking at the time I showed up. They were looking at the relationship they had with me leading up to the time I showed up at their house, and it was all the package. It was so easy for me to sell the consultant opportunity that night. It really was. When I talked about it early, yes, but it was just to plant the seed that if they'd ever thought about it, now's the time they might want to consider it. But I didn't go into a full-blown recruiting conversation unless they brought it up and seemed genuinely interested, because I didn't want to distract them from their role as a host to have a successful party. I didn't want to clutter up their mind. But that night, trust me, I brought that entire dinner plate and I put all the food out. And I let them know what every single piece was and how it would impact their life. Because I was one-on-one sitting down with them at that time. And when you guys do Facebook Live parties, you can do the same thing. You can absolutely have this conversation with your host over your Facebook Lives. You absolutely can. Right? Okay. So let's move on because we're running out of time. Now, seeds, one of the things I'd like you guys to do is consider or think about what are some of the seeds that you plant, whether they're in your virtual Facebook parties or your in-home parties, because those are something I think are going to be really important for you to be able to casually and comfortably share throughout the conversation. You don't want to say, by the way, this is what I'm making tonight. You want to say, how many of you, ever wonder, talk about what you use your income for, talk about what other people, talk about the fact that, you love being out of the house, you plant those seeds so people will all of a sudden pick up on the fact that you have something they want because you love it. So again, why is the business fun? What do you use your income for? Sharing what the business does for you. These casual nuggets are something that are true to you. However, that doesn't mean that your leader and myself and other people can't give you ideas about recruiting seeds. Because I think it's really important that as everybody kind of talks about what their recruiting seeds are, that something might resonate with you that we use, right? And it does have to come from your heart, because as much as you have a passion for your product, you would need at least to have some seed that talks about the money. Some seed talks about the money. So maybe what we do is in this group, we talk about or list some of the seeds. What are some of the seeds that you guys use and share? I would love to see what those are and share them in this group. Okay, let's see. And then again, we talk about, and we'll be sharing about your why, because I think your why, which is really your story, I think that's where people really start to connect with you, because people join people. They buy from people they like, they book from people they like, and they join from people they like. And that's why it's a little more difficult with a Facebook party for people to really make that emotional connection with you. I didn't say it was impossible, but when you're in front of everybody in a room, they do love you. They do fall in love with you because you have the chance to stand up with them, to tap their shoulder, to hand a product to them. It's that bonding that occurs because you're in the same room with them. And you can make it happen with the Facebook parties because when you go live. But again, it's a little bit more difficult. But again, I think it's really important that you understand that you're being hired. Whether you're being hired because they're buying from you and they trust you, you're being hired because they're booking with you, but most importantly, they're entrusting, and listen to what I'm saying, they're entrusting to you that paycheck that you talked about that you make. They're entrusting to you that they will make the same paycheck. So again, if they don't necessarily care about the paycheck, let them be your customer. Give them a preferred customer, VIP customer thing. You guys know who those customers are. If they're a host, give them a past host special. But if they are truly interested in that paycheck, they will stick to you like glue. They truly will. They will be on every single call because they will trust you when it comes to you saying, this is how much money you could make. Your word is your bond. And we know that's the money they could make. We all know that. So your word is your bond. So you've got to have that money talk and tell people what you use it for, what other people use it for. Show an example of someone, a paycheck that you create. I said to this person today, not the lady, this person, she's so sweet. I want to say her name. I said to her, give an example of what your paycheck would have looked like as a consultant, and then give an example on the same page of what it looks like now with you doing exactly the same amount of parties, because that's what people want to know. Is this the money I can make? Yes, it is. And I can do that by doing this many parties. Yes, and I can show you how. And that's what they want to hear. All right. The other thing is, when you guys are talking to somebody that's interested, get excited. I love the fact that when I am following up with someone and they're saying, well, I'm not really sure, and I'm so excited to be able to talk to you about this. And I always ask them, did it pass the pillow test? And I'm sure it did, because if you're following back up with them, you set an appointment, which is so important. You set that appointment because the appointment says, I respect your time, and the time I have, I'm going to give to you, and this is the time we agree on. Don't just, fly by your seat of your pants. This is an interview. This is where they share with you their innermost fears. It comes across as an objection, but it's really not. An objection is merely a need for more information. And if they come up with an objection, think about it. It's because they've thought about it. If they didn't have any objections, they wouldn't give it the time of day. They wouldn't even make the appointment. So you want to be able to say, this time is all about you. I've devoted this call to you. So I'm excited to hear, what are some of the things that made you not sleep? What are some of the things that passed the pillow test, right? That you got to thinking about every morning. Listen, I say that because that's how most people will come to these calls, with that kind of feeling. Give them permission to say, you're right, I was excited, right? Ask them, say, tell me what's on your heart. Remember what I said earlier, and I've said it in several different calls. Women generally make decisions emotionally. They are tied to that heartstring that you dangled. And you don't do it, I mean, you dangle it to get over on them or to trick them. No, it's the words you use. It's the things that resonate with them. My husband was laid off, and this just helped us during the time that he was laid off. I remember my son, Sam. He wanted to go to the Apple store, and I could not pay for that. And then I started to add more Kellogg parties to my business, and I used those Kellogg parties for our Apple run. And that's what I would share at my parties. I was able to add some additional Kellogg parties. I didn't leave my house. How many of you work outside the home? You know how your friends love to shop from the Kellogg. That's how I add some additional income, and Sam and I make our Apple run. So again, ask them what's on their heart. They will tell you. Women speak, they decide with their heart, and they back it up with logic, right? They truly do. You have to meet them where they are. You want to answer their questions, and you also want to say, when they're done, you know what? Let me just share a couple things that I want to make sure that we're not overlooking. And then you come and tell them about the $75 extra cash with the $750. You tell them why that 30 days is so important. I love our Take a Look calls, guys, because I say on the Take a Look calls, your 4 parties, your 2 launch parties, your 2 parties with friends, that sets you up for success. I tell them why they want those 4 parties. So again, you want to make sure that you are wrapping that up with some things that you want to make sure that you want to share with them that are important for them to know. But the first part of that call, it's all about them. Now, a lot of times you'll get some objections. So I'm going to real quickly go into some of those objections. I'm just reading over my notes. Keep it geared towards them. Again, is there anything else I might have missed? You go over some of the things. The 4 parties, secures their rewards, gives them bookings and a paycheck. And then when you're kind of finished the call, that's when you say, oh my gosh, you've asked some great questions. I think we've answered them. Let's go ahead and talk about the next step. And the next step is setting up their 4 parties, their calendar for their 4 parties, because that's the 2 launch party and the 2 girlfriend parties, and then they get ready to order their kit. I mean, the beauty of it is you are teaching them why those 4 parties starts that step into success. And they will do the same thing with the person that they start talking to about the opportunity, right? Again, our goal is always to take pressure off the decision. So it's first step. Oh my gosh, I think we've answered all the questions. Let's talk about the next step. How does that sound? And then you go to the next step. All right. So we talked about, I'm going to do this fairly quickly. We talked about questions are really objections. You guys don't want to go into a defense mode. I know sometimes, you know, our body language when we hear an objection tends to kind of stress up a little bit and stuff like that. It's an opportunity for you to serve them. Did you know that? An objection is really an opportunity for you to serve them. If somebody says, for example, I'm really busy, I don't know if I have time to do this, how much time do you have to work? You want to go back to them and say something like this. Because this is what I wrote. We can't know how much they want to work. We can't know what they want to do with their business. So they may say, I don't know if I can do this, and ask them. You know, again, align with them. I can see why being concerned, because people are busy, and people are busy. That is probably one of the biggest objections you're going to get. Oh, I don't know if I'm too busy. That just say, how much time? I know, you know, oh my gosh, I can totally understand that. We're so crazy busy nowadays. How much time do you think you'll have for this? So you've already had the conversation about the 4 parties and talking about that, and then they say, I don't know, I'm just so busy. Or maybe they come out with it, you know, I'm just too busy this. Just say, how much time do you think you would have for this? And that's going to give them some thought. And sometimes it was amazing, because I remember a couple times I'd say that, and they'd say, you know, I probably can only do 2 parties a week. I'm like, holy moly, that's more than most people do starting out. So I was excited that for them, that was low. That was a very low schedule. So don't assume and don't jump to it. And it's really great, because any schedule they can do with the, you know, beyond those 4 parties, it's additional income. It's like, oh my gosh, you're going to have a great income. You're going to get the return on your kit back and then some. You're going to do the rewards program. I mean, get excited for that money when they start to discover what their schedule is going to look like, what they want to do. Sometimes when people say they're going to move, I used to get this a lot, and let me tell you something. Check with your leader, because a lot of times strategically when they're going to move is really when it makes the most sense for them to get the training, do a launch party with their existing friends in the city that they're currently in. And when they move their business, they are so much more confident, because all they're doing is moving what they already know to another place, and it opens doors for them. I'll tell you, I would have never been so happy in Oklahoma, because we knew no one, if I hadn't had my Pampered Chef business. It opened the doors to me meeting so many people and so many conversations, and just it was my lifesaver. It really was. Yeah. How about when somebody says they can't afford it? Now, again, our consultant kit is so inexpensive. And that's where you want to make sure that you are teaching them that their 2 launch parties will pay back that kit. And you might want to do those 2 launch parties Tuesday and a Thursday. You might want to give them that return on that investment of that kit in that first week. That's what you want to do. Listen to them. Put your listening ears, look through the lens of their life, listen to what they're saying, and realize that when they schedule a party, it's a paycheck. So if they are worried about getting that money back, maybe they're going to put it on a credit card, build that first 2 weeks to have 4 parties in the first 2 weeks. They're going to get the return on their kit, and they're going to have money for other things they want to add to their kit. And their $75 rewards comes in so nice. Really? Yes. So again, you want to make sure they know this. Help them see the money. Now, the last one that I want to share with you guys is I don't have enough friends. And guess what? There is always a story. You will know, everybody has a story of how they got started, where they knew 3 people and those 3 people brought a friend. And then they had 6. So it's really very interesting when they said, I don't know any friends, because a lot of times this is how you make friends, because you are, you know, being a host and you're hosting it and it's your launch party as a host. I mean, there's so many ways to really make this so attractive to somebody that just doesn't feel like they have enough people, know enough people. And again, but don't say, oh, sure you do. Just say, well, let's take a look at who you do know. And let's take a look at maybe some of the people you've met already. Meet them where they are, align with them, help them to understand that you are listening to them. But you guys know there is an answer. There are solutions to that type of objection. And again, sometimes it's not right for them. Don't talk them into it. If there's continues to be a hesitation, allow them to wait. It's not always right for everybody. I say this, direct sales is for everybody. No, it's for anybody. No, it's for everybody, but not, it's for anybody, but not everybody. So anybody could do direct sales, but not everybody is right for direct sales at this time in their life. And it's really important to understand that. Okay, I'm gonna finish with this because I know some of you are working on your maybes. I hear that a lot. Kathy, I've got a couple people on the fence. I wanna ask you something. Are those maybes sucking the energy out of you? What are they hanging on for? What are they not making a yes? You want a no. You either want a yes or you want a no from those maybes, because I have experience where I keep going back and they either drag me on or, you know, they follow up with me and then they don't follow up with me, and I keep them on my lead list, and I should just qualify them as a no. So I'm going to give you permission to not hope with those maybes. There's no such thing as hope. Hope is when you're on a deserted island and you're hoping for somebody to rescue you. These maybes are either yes or no. So we're going to have an opportunity with your leader or with me for you to look at someone in your business that is a maybe, and we're going to either have them go to a yes or a no. They're not going to be maybes any longer, because that gives you a false sense of security. It drains your energy. And listen, most of them will go to a no if you give them permission. They are not going to a no because they just don't want to say no. And some of you know what I mean. Some of you don't. It's the same thing with hosting. They just don't tell you no because they just can't say no. And so if you give them permission, listen, Mary, if this isn't a good time, it's okay. Let's go ahead and share with you. Let's go ahead and get you lined up to have a fun event in January with your friends. Oh, my foot went to sleep. And move them into a host. But give them permission to say no, because if they're a maybe, chances are they're a no. They just have not been able to tell you. So let's clear the maybes off your plate. We're working with the yes, and we're working with those that you haven't invited yet, because that is your 2018 and beyond experience that we're going to take you to. I want January, guys, I want it to be one of the strongest months ever. And yes, the $50 is going to help you, but I want you to think about this. What will this do for your family? That's what you need to think about. Think about if Heidi said to you, I'm going to give you $1,000. And by the way, the month I did that with my team. I said, what if Doris Christopher, the founder, gave us $1,000 for every recruit? How would you look differently at recruiting? Did you know, and in fact, I have the award on my desk, our team, out of close to 70,000 consultants, was the #2 team in organizational growth that month. And it was because I had them think about themselves. What would that money do for their family? Because that $1,000 wasn't about what we were offering their new recruits at all. It was pretending what the company would offer them. What would they do as a result of somebody giving them that $1,000? And you did you do it because that $1,000 you wanted for your family, for you. So that's what you're putting in your paycheck every month when you offer that $50 to others. you're giving back to your family. And that's what I want to close on. WIIFM, what's in it for me, is perfectly okay. In fact, I want each of you to write that on a vision board, on your refrigerator, on your computer, on your bathroom sink, wherever you can see it. WIIFM, what's in it for me? Because you deserve it. You deserve to have the amount of time you spend on your business and see an incremental amount of income coming into your paycheck. Yes, you could make $400 to $500, or you could double, triple, or like some of our top leaders, 6, 8, 10,000 a month. And I promise you, a lot of their situations with their kids and their schedules, they are not doing their 3 to 5 parties a month. I can promise you. And it's because they saw the benefit for their family by sharing the opportunity with other people. So that's what we're going to do starting tonight, starting tomorrow. That's what we're going to do. WIIFM. All right. Let's see if we have any questions. And you guys are welcome to leave if you need to. I knew this was going to go an hour, and I just really felt like this was a topic that I didn't want to rush through, and I wanted to be able to share from my experience and help you guys give back to your family and know the way that it works to give back to your family. Jennifer, you're right. Jennifer says the more you do it, the better you get. Because it's really interesting. I used you as an example, and if you heard that earlier, but Jennifer's 6 to 8. Jennifer's brand new. She learned that skill immediately. She learned it when she learned booking, when she learned host coaching, when she learned sales. In fact, one of the things that I always said to my team back with Pampered Chef, you don't teach them how to book, and then you teach them how to recruit later, because then they feel like, gosh, I'm always learning. You teach them booking, you teach them the pillars. The pillars are booking, recruits, and sales. And it's not in that order, but those are the pillars. And of course, developing leaders is another pillar in direct sales. But the core for all new consultants is sales, bookings, recruiting. Recruiting, bookings, sales. So Jennifer, she embraced it in her first time ever, and that's why she does 6 to 8 recruits a month, is because it's just part of the skill set that she learned. Yeah. Oh, Tina, actually caught one live, and boy, do I need this. Thank you, Tina. Really, I think everybody needs to reshift their brain, their heart, and we need to think about ourselves and think about, if we're going to work, which we are, what's the best way to give back to our family, give back to us, right? I mean, seriously, give back to us. All right. Hillary, great idea. Put it in your lap boards. Yes. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. There is a huge difference between a host and a recruit. Yes, there is. There absolutely is. And I really want you guys to not mix the ecosystem there. It's really not a good balance. I mean, it has to be a balance. You have your customer, which you love, and they're treated as a great customer. You have your host, which you love, and then you have a new consultant or a teammate. There's 3 different relationships going, and if you mix that up and you get your customer to come over your team and she's not interested in being a consultant, and you're saying to her, you're putting your $25 in, oh my gosh, she's no longer a customer. She is no longer that sweet customer. She now, I don't know what relationship we have with her, right? It's tough. Yep. Okay. Let's see if any other questions. And you guys can keep the questions coming, because I am so going to be actively engaged in making sure you have spots on my calendar. If you need to do 3-way calls, if I need to do Zoom training with you or anybody else, I am here to make sure that all of you have a level of confidence of what you're moving forward and doing for your family via sharing with others. Yep. Jen said I'd be recruiting everyone. Can my dog sell to the neighbor dog? Yeah, well, Jen, I'm telling you, if you would recruit for that $1,000, then you should be recruiting anyway. Because you will get that $1,000 in your paycheck. You will get it. Heidi doesn't have to give it to you. You will get it every time you get somebody strong on your team. You will get that $1,000. Yeah, truly. I mean, not every person, but as you start to build a team, that $1,000 will be put in your paycheck. It's really up to you guys. Yeah. Yep, for sure. Okay. Okay, let me see. All right, any other questions? Linda said, love the comparison of our columns to an ecosystem. It is so true. You know, and I know it's because I come from a company that we did not have personal users. We had no such thing. Our consultants, they tried it for 30 days. At the end of the 30 days, if they wanted to stay active, they did one party in a 2-month time frame. It was a party order. Kellogg, Facebook, it was a $200 party order. They stayed active as party consultants, right? It just worked. It just worked. You know, again, it worked. It was wonderful. Yeah. Yeah. And that way, the beauty of that, guys, is if they ever wanted to come back stronger, they were already maintaining a $200 party in you know, that 60-day window. So they were still engaged in their business as far as supporting their customers, maybe slipping out and doing a party once in a while. We didn't have that retraining, you know, jump starting. It really was, you know, let's just add a couple more parties into your month if you need a bigger paycheck. It was a very seamless move from an active to a worker. It was very seamless. So yeah, it's just something we were part of, and I'm happy I was part of it, because I think that's what I bring to you guys, is that mindset that's healthy, that ecosystem that shouldn't be disrupted. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. Hillary would not be here today if the opportunity weren't. Yep. Yeah. And Patricia, she used her income to prove her credit. Yeah. 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 All right. Oh, Samantha said she always walks away learning something. We are blessed. I'm blessed, guys. Listen, I'm blessed. Yeah. Okay. April has 5 need help getting off the fence. Yes, April, we do need to get them off the fence. They're a yes or no. They're not a maybe. And again, they just might not feel like they can say no to you, right? And you give them permission. Listen, if now's not a good time, it's okay. We can revisit it maybe in the spring when the new catalog comes out. Give them an out. Don't keep hounding them. And if you say it that way, listen, if that's not a good time, that's okay. Do you want to look at it in the spring? Oh my gosh, that'd be wonderful. How does that sound? And that's exactly what's going to happen. Absolutely. Absolutely. Tina says her biggest fear of recruiting is what to do once they say yes. Tina, that should never be a fear, because your leader or me, you have 2 sources of training, your leader or me. So if your leader, for whatever reason, is not available, then I'm your plan B, and I'm the good plan B, because your leader's your plan A. So I'm your plan B. None of you should ever have to say my fear. No, you should say, I'm so excited. Once I start to get people, how do I train them? It's not fear. It's what do I do now that I've got some interest? Or when I start to get some interest, what do I do? I'm here. Here I am. Yep, Tina, because between you and between me and your leader, we've got you covered. We've got you covered, right? We've got you covered. All right. Yep. Oh, Tina, with your 3 kids and a hubby who works night, listen, Tina, this is probably even more reason why you want to reach out. You have a story to tell. You know, I have 3 kids. My husband works nights. I'm able to work this. If I can do it, you can do it. Tina, you are a walking billboard. These are the stories moms need to hear. And it doesn't mean, Tina, that you have to say, oh my gosh, I'm making this paycheck. It's paying for this. Listen, that first recruit pays for a night out with pizza. That's what, if your first recruit does 4 parties in that first 30 days, that's a pizza night out for your family. What would that sound like? Right? That's what you should be looking at. Second recruit, maybe it's a nicer meal, or it's 2 nights out, or it's a trip to the Apple store. You guys need to understand the money you make off of your team needs to go back to your family. You need to give it back to your family. That's who deserves it. You and your family. WIIFM, for sure. All right, I'm gonna wrap up because it's 10:20. I've kept you guys far too late, but I really enjoyed this time with you guys. This is such a heart tug for me because I would not be here with you. I would not be here with you if Penny hadn't shared 23 years ago. I wouldn't be here. So can you imagine me not being here? I can't. And again, she shared, so I shared, and I shared so I could be here with you guys. Yeah, so I love you guys all so much. Have a wonderful evening. Let's talk about some of those seeds. I think that's a great conversation we should be having. What do some of those seeds sound like and look like? I would love to have you guys share. I'll certainly share also some of the things that I say during the parties, both virtual parties and and in-home parties. And we'll start to get some some good stuff going here, so everybody has stuff that they can share. We can share with each other. All right, thanks for the hearts, guys. Oh my gosh, I love you guys so much. I'll tell you, I love you guys so much. Honestly, I have such a love affair with Lemongrass Spa because of you guys. You guys know that, though. I know you know that. All right, have a great rest of your night. Jennifer is at the WOW tomorrow at 12 o'clock noon Eastern time. She's got the WOW call. And then tomorrow night, I'm at Glenny's, and we're going to come live with a make and take for cleaning products. And then Thursday evening, I've decided to do it Thursday evening, I'm going to teach you about eye cream. I'm going to show you a demonstration how to use eye cream as eye cream during your facial parties and your virtual parties too, because I've got a really fun couple tips to share you with eye cream. Who knew, right? All about the eyes. All right, guys, have a great rest of your night. Thank you again for staying with me. I really appreciate it. Love you guys so much. Alrighty, bye. Mwah.